Welcome to Variety, the children's charity telethon spotlight. I am Lou Seipold, and this is Sherry McMichael. She's the executive director of Variety, the children's charity. Sherry, we've been raising money for a long time.
For a long time. This is our 49th telethon, and over those years we have raised more than $120 million that have directly impacted the children throughout the state of Iowa.
Wow, this is an absolutely amazing organization that takes your dollars and puts them to use the way that they need to go to use. And the overall mission of Variety is what? Is
working to improve the lives of at-risk, underprivileged, critically ill, and those living with special needs.
Right, and that's so important nowadays, folks. And we're going to visit with a bunch of different organizations that benefit from Variety, the children's charity, and talk about some of the things they do that you might not have known about, including one that addresses the needs in the community, including a special need that is so important. We are with Nancy Baker Curtis and our friend Charlie. Hi, Charlie. As we're going to talk about something that you might not be aware of that is really in need here in Iowa, that Variety, the children's charity, helps with. Nancy, we are going to talk about specialty changing tables. Explain what those are.
Specialty changing tables are changing tables that are built for children over 50 pounds. A traditional infant changing table only holds up to 50 pounds and is only about 2 feet long, which really is excluding a segment of the population, generally special needs children, that are over the weight of 50 pounds and still require the use of diapers.
Now, I bet you a lot of people did not realize that the weight limitations on those changing tables that you see all over, no matter where you go in the USA and especially here in Iowa, are not equipped to handle children larger, or people, I should say, larger than 50 pounds.
That's right.
Okay, and when you have something going on, you have an outing, it takes a whole lot of planning, doesn't it?
It sure does. Charlie here has a number of medical diagnoses, from a feeding disorder to requiring specialized changing locations because of diapering. And so when we plan to go out, we really have to plan everything door to door, including our restroom stops.
Okay, now the restroom stops, for example, if you were going to have a trip, say from here to the Quad Cities.
Correct.
What would you have to plan out for that type of trip?
So we would literally have to plan exactly where we were going to stop, because it would require us to unload our car and then create a space inside there to be able to change Charlie every time he required a diaper change.
Okay, now where is that usually the place? I want you to absorb this, everyone. Where is that usually the place?
Generally, we can go anywhere from 2 to 3 hours. But if we're traveling on the 80, we have the luxury now of being able to stop at the Victor rest area if we're headed toward the Quad Cities.
Okay,
because
good.
There is a new rest area there that has a height-adjustable adult-sized changing table.
And how convenient is that, and how did that change your life?
Having access to that just really allows my family to be able to explore further than we've ever been able to explore before, Lou. We're able to go places as a family and plan to stay the entire day instead of having to anticipate an accident and leaving an event early to go change Charlie in the back of our car.
Okay, let's stay at home. Let's stay at home here now. What about if we stay in the Des Moines area? Where can you go in Des Moines that has an adult changing table?
I'm so proud to say that our Blank Park Zoo has added a height-adjustable adult-sized changing table, and it has just been amazing.
You could spend all day there.
In fact, we went there twice in 1 week.
See?
My daughter was able to bring a friend with her to the zoo, which is something that in the past we just really avoided. We didn't want to have to put her in the situation of having to tell her friend we have to leave early, or explain why we have to clean out our car and they have to wait. It's just not something any 10-year-old should have to deal with.
Now, Variety, the children's charity, is helping to fund some of these tables being installed across the state. You mentioned the one rest area, and we're proud to say that there
are 4 more coming.
I say the state of Iowa Iowa has said there's 4 more coming, which is awesome. Now, where else in the state are we able to find a specialty changing table?
So we're really excited. There are going to be new locations. Several inclusive parks have decided to go ahead and truly become inclusive by having inclusive restrooms. One is in the city of Grimes. Another one is going to be constructed in Winterset. But also there are places like the Iowa Children's Museum in Cedar Rapids that have applied and accepted an award to be able to add a height adjustable adult size changing table.
That is awesome. And here is the bottom line, everybody. You want to donate to Variety the Children's Charity, but you don't know where the money can go and do the most good. Well, how about this? Variety handles all the heavy lifting, making your donation have its maximum impact. And it's really simple to make a donation to Variety the Children's Charity, Nancy, with the QR code that's on the screen. People can zap that, right?
Absolutely. And I would just encourage everyone who considers donating to reach into their pocketbooks and change the life of a child. We want to go to a park. We want to go to the zoo and museums, and your donation will help make that possible for so many families.
How about that? So yes, your donations can make a world of difference and change the lives of really cool people like our friend Charlie here. Look at, here's Charlie here smiling. How cool is that? He's up on the screen. But this is what we're talking about. We're talking about changing lives of children and changing lives of families with help from Variety the Children's Charity. We are with Kim Butler-Hedges. She is Variety the Children's Charity Board President. You have been around to take care of Variety duties for a long, long time. How long have you been involved with Variety?
I tried to do the math, and as best I can tell, it's been about 30 years. I started, yes.
Well, how did you first get started with Variety?
I was recruited as a young professional to be a VIP for Telethon.
Okay, now explain what that is.
So a VIP is a very interested person who raises money as part of the telethon.
Right, and that just kind of hooked you back then. What was so intriguing about Variety the Children's Charity to you?
The fact that the money stays local was a big part of it for me. I had served on some other organizations that I knew the money was going for a good cause, but it didn't necessarily stay here. And all the money that Variety raises here in central Iowa and throughout the state of Iowa stays right here to help our Iowa kids and their families.
Wow, so 30 years ago you got involved and you're still involved now.
Still.
What makes you want to continue to do this?
So we raise money all year long, and then we do a lot of things, but one of the things we do in the summertime is grant out the money to our children's organizations, and we go and visit these organizations who are really doing the hard work of helping children who are at risk, underprivileged, critically ill, and living with special needs.
Right, it just makes a world of difference for that. But now you are the board president,
I am.
And that is a big role. That's a lot of responsibility. What have you learned and what have you absorbed from Variety by being board president?
I learned to remember the mission statement, first of all, which again is helping children who are at risk, underprivileged, critically ill, and living with special needs. But I've also learned that we have such a huge impact in our communities and on the families and kids that we serve. It's really far-reaching.
Now, you said you went out and you saw the kids and how the money was impacting those kids. Are there any one particular area that is really attractive to you that really Variety helps out the kids with?
The one area that I'm most passionate about is a little bit of a secret within Variety. It's called the Compassion Fund.
Okay.
And when I joined the board 5 years ago, I agreed to chair that event, and it raises money for the Compassion Fund, which is a pool of money that is available for healthcare professionals to help families that they observe in a hospital situation dealing with financial stress, and also the stress of having a critically ill child.
Now, the Compassion Fund, I'm sure a lot of people have heard about the Compassion Fund on radio. It's a
Yes.
big fundraiser on radio, and that really supplies a lot of the funding for the Compassion Fund. But how about we get a couple of examples of how Compassion Fund monies have helped families? You said just recently somebody had something.
Just this week, I had one of my employees have an emergency C-section. Baby was born with some issues and headed to the NICU, and so we were able to tap into the Compassion Fund to help them with their young family, first baby, a lot of stress in that, and just help them with gas money and hotels and whatever else they need. 2 other babies we helped this week, one with cancer and one whose family actually took her to Florida because that's where the specialist was that could help her with their heart needs. So able to tap into that compassion fund and help those families. It's not a lot, but every little bit helps, I think.
Yeah, and we're talking about the needs of the family. What are the people in the families that get the compassion fund monies? What are they using that for primarily?
It could be anything. It could be gas money.
Really? So it's to their discretion?
Maybe they have a child still at home that they need to provide daycare for. We've had some folks that, utility bill or a birthday cake for the child in the hospital. It's really at their discretion.
Really?
And what I like about it is there's no needs-based application. It's simply a healthcare professional observing that these families are in need.
So that's how the money is acquired, is an observation from a healthcare professional and then helping out the families so they have the best possible outcome. Now, we also understand that you have the best possible outcome when it comes to your employees about building some things. That's also another special part.
We do. So another piece of Variety is our mobility program, and that can be specialized equipment for disabled children, but it's also building bicycles to give to able-bodied children who might not otherwise get a bicycle. So companies all around the metro volunteer to have us come out and do a bike build. Community State Bank has done 2 of them. We do it in the parking lot of the bank. Bike World comes out and really helps to make sure that we're not putting,
The wrong pieces,
the
in
wrong
the wrong
pieces
place.
on the wrong part.
That is great.
Our employees love it.
How many did you do last time? How many bikes did you build last time?
We did about 60 bikes.
60? Wow. And how long does that take you to put together 60
Not
bikes?
as long as you might think. It took about 90 minutes. So then we were left with a
It's like a little
log
pit
time.
stop
Yeah.
here building bicycles.
Right.
That is great. Thank you so much for
You're very
everything
welcome.
you do.
Thank you.
For being the board president of Variety, the children's charity. Folks, that's where some of your money goes. That's where the donations that you make today and during this program are going to go to. You see the QR screen, code at the bottom of the screen. Click on that, snap that, and go right to the place where you can make a donation. If you're more comfortable with Venmo, Variety Iowa on Venmo. Make it that simple. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Please give.
We are being joined by a very familiar person here in the state of Iowa, former Hawkeye great and NFL legend Chuck Long joining us. Hello, Chuck.
Good to be on with you, Lou. Hello to you, too. Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you as well. Now, we are putting the spotlight on some of the organizations that Variety, the children's charity, has had the pleasure and honor of helping out. Now, I want you to remind everybody as to what you are doing now and the organization you're associated with.
Well, I'm the executive director and CEO of the Iowa Sports Foundation, and we have basically, spreading health and wellness and sports and recreation statewide. That's what we want. We're trying to get everybody to be active. We want to provide sports and recreation and opportunities for all Iowans, including the disabled, which I know we're going to talk about here in a minute. But we have 5 pillars. We have Live Healthy Iowa. We have Iowa Games. We have Iowa Senior Games. We have corporate games. And we have, last but not least, Adaptive Sports Iowa under our umbrella. So we touch upwards of 200,000 lives a year from all 99 counties of Iowa. We're very proud of that. And again, we're just trying to reach everybody to get them active and get them something to do and help their health as they go.
Now let's talk about Adaptive Sports Iowa and how Variety, the children's charity, has helped support that portion of your company.
Well, Variety's been a great supporter of Adaptive Sports Iowa. They provided sport chairs or racing chairs for junior high and high school athletes across the state to give them the opportunity to compete on their high school track team and also be able to come to the Drake relays or the high school state championships at the Blue Oval in the spring. So in the summer. So that's what we provide, and we could not have done it without Variety. I mean, they've given us some great funding over the past 6-7 years, and right now we have about 25 of these racing chairs out there, and we were able to buy about 12 shot put chairs for people with disabilities to be able to put the shot from a chair. Wow. And also these racing chairs, Lou, are not they're not your normal chair that a lot of disabled people use. These are streamlined racing chairs anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000.
Yeah, you see behind us, so it just showed up on the screen, and we'll have some images and videos to go along with this. Now, what do the athletes go through in order to compete like that? It has to be a lot of things going on.
Yeah, a lot of things going on. They basically, they train and compete with their junior high or high school teams. That's what they do. Like everybody else does on that team. So they have to train, and there's a certain amount of training. They're getting used to one of these racing chairs. They're not easy, and so you have to get used to it. They're very streamlined, very very fast. So there's a lot of protocol and learning to be able to manage. Especially think about going around a corner, going around the track. You got to be able to learn how to do that. So there's a significant amount of training involved for these athletes, and we send videos along with that. And Variety has really come through on those as well. One year we had enough chairs, we just needed videos, instructional videos, to send to the high school coaches or junior high coaches to be able to teach them how to use these chairs.
Wow. Now, you mentioned the racing chairs, you mentioned the shot put chairs, and you mentioned how to buy them. And I'm guessing these are not inexpensive.
No, they're expensive. I mean, as I mentioned before, they're about $3,000 to $5,000 a piece. And so, again, it's a very significant, streamlined chair, and they're really put together very well, very, I don't know how they put it together, just looking at them. I mean, it's really amazing, and how light they are. I mean, you could pick them up with your finger, basically. Like you see with a lot of titanium bikes out there, on RAGBRAI or out on the trails. It's very similar to that, really lightweight. So they got to be able to transport them around. I mean, they have to have a trailer or some back of a big, vehicle or an SUV to be able to put these in the back and be able to travel around as well. But they're not inexpensive. They're expensive bikes, and Variety is giving us the funds to help to support that. Yeah,
and that is what is really important here. And I think you have an opportunity to stress to everybody watching right now how important Variety's contribution is to make this happen.
Oh, it is very important. We couldn't do it without them. We'd have to go to some other kind of funding, and that's hard to get sometimes. And Variety's been very good across the state with everything they've done for years. And heck, I remember going to the first Variety Telethon when I was a senior in college in 1995, something like that. And they've been going strong ever since. Of course, Sherry McMichael is the leader of the group, and her team is an awesome team. But yeah, we couldn't have done it without them. I mean, they have literally changed people's lives across the state with providing these sport chairs to be able to have the kids come and compete in track. I mean, if you've ever been there and they have those races going on, those kids get a standing ovation. I mean, they get a charge out of that standing ovation, and it gives you chills just when you're there to see that. And so just the excitement of going there for those kids, we want to provide that, and Variety is right behind us with that, and we just love our relationship with Variety.
That is where your money is going, folks. Variety handles all the heavy lifting, making sure your donation has the maximum impact. 515-243-4660 is the number to call. Variety Iowa and Venmo, VarietyIowa.com online. Chuck Long, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for explaining what is going on with Adaptive Sports Iowa, and we do appreciate everything that you do for all the athletes here in the state of Iowa.
Well, thank you, Lou. Thanks for the opportunity to be on with you to spread the word. And again, thank you to Variety and what you do for them as well. And we'll just keep it going and come out to the Drake Relays and the state track meet this year and watch these athletes, perform. It's quite a sight, quite a thrill.
Thanks, Chuck. Well, Variety, the children's charity, has many very important partners, and one of the most important partners that they've teamed up with over the years happens to be Fairway Meat and Grocery. And look who we have with us right now. We have the CEO of Fairway Meat and Grocery, Reynolds Kramer.
How you
Good
doing,
to see you,
Lou?
my friend.
How you doing?
Great. Your involvement with Variety, the children's charity, over the so many years has been so important. Why is this such an important reason for you to get involved with this organization?
Well, Lou, Variety Children's Charity is an amazing, amazing charity that does so much for so many kids everywhere, kids and families across the state of Iowa. why wouldn't we want to be involved in that? And in fact, we've been involved with it over 35 years now.
Wow.
So I've been with Fairway for 38, just to give you an idea of that. So I was just a wee little one when Fairway started.
Yeah, but so when this was all got up and going, you saw this unfolding right in front of you.
I did. I used to come not only with my dad, but others and on stage when I was little and watch what happened. And that was back with Cash for Kids and all the things that, you know, all the grocers would get together and do and help raise dollars. And it was just a great time. And of course, you know, Stan Reynolds and, you know, who helped get this thing going in the telethon. And that's what we're about right now. It's telethon time.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And that's what we're doing. We're raising money here for Variety, the children's charity. It's the Telethon Spotlight. And I want you to pick up the phone while we're talking here and help the cause. It is 515-243-4660, 515-243-4660. If you want to use Venmo, Variety Iowa, varietyiowa.com/telethon on the web as well. But it aligns with the ideas of Fairway, Variety, the children's charity. Tell us how that works.
Well, once again, we're about community, we're about family, and so if we can give back in some way, we want to do it. In fact, what we've done over the years is we've worked with our employees to say, hey, how can we put together programs to raise dollars for Variety?
Okay.
And we've done a lot of things, a lot of events over the years, but it's built up to what we're doing today. And so, as an example, one of the biggest things we do is a roundup. And, you know, hey, a lot of places you go, it's round up for this, round up for that. But the reality is that it's a great way to get 10 cents, 13 cents, 14 cents. That all added up this year to over $170,000.
Did it really?
Raised at Fairway for Variety. Just
Oh
that
my
alone.
gosh! Yeah, and we have a check coming up. You're going to see the check here in just a little bit. But did that surprise you when you saw that number, you know, exceed $100,000 in the first place?
It sure did, and it's grown over the years. And what's happened is we've helped educate all of our customers and everyone out there about what Variety is. You know, years ago when we tried our first roundup, a lot of people are like, well, what are we doing this for? What does the money go for? And so we've had to work really hard at saying, here's what Variety is all about. And that pushed us to one of our next big programs, and that's mobility.
Okay, explain why this is important.
So one of the things that kids lack sometimes when they have a disability or they have a muscular issue or they have anything that's affecting their life is maybe it's hard to walk. Maybe it's something they can't ride a bicycle. They can't do some of the things that just kids do every day, right?
Kids being kids.
Kids being kids. So we put together a great program, and everyone's sharing in this, but Fairway's really jumped on board. And what we try and do every year is give away specialized bicycles to kids and families. And these bicycles are a big deal. They're anywhere from like $2,000 to $6,000.
Oh my goodness.
That fit a child in a certain way based upon their situation. And the coolest thing is that they get to go out and ride with their brothers and sisters and their moms and dads and have a great time. So it's been an amazing way to give back and use the dollars that we raise.
Right, and we understand that, you know, if a family member needs a bike, you guys help them there too, because you make sure the family gets a chance to go out and really enjoy life.
Right, and so the siblings might get regular bicycles with helmets and all that.
Of
and next
course.
thing you know, everybody's riding.
Now tell us about some of the stores, some of the Fairway stores, because this is a little competitive amongst the stores.
It is for sure. And so not only have we pushed the bicycles, but we've pushed our stores to raise the most money and get involved the most. And if it's raising money through the roundup, that's one thing, but we started an online Fairway only auction. And so what happens is we go out and we get a bunch of items and we let our employees get on board with the auction, and they get to purchase items, bid on them, and then that money goes to Variety. So we have stores that are raising the most because they get their employees involved, and an employee gets a really neat prize, a really neat item, and it's helped raise the money. So you start adding up all these things, and that's how we get to our total each year.
And so Fairway Meat and Grocery really is all in with Variety, the children's charity. Now, any special stores that you know, come to mind that really have gone above and beyond?
Well, I tell you what, they all work really hard. And what's neat is every year we take 4 or 5 of the top stores, and they're the stores that get to give away a specialized bicycle.
Yes.
So lately I was just at Pleasant Hill, and Norwalk gave away a bicycle, and we've got them all over, Decorah, on and on. Today, we're here in Johnston, and so you're going to meet Paul, our manager, here in a minute. And so the goal will be to have a bike presentation here at the store.
Okay, so everyone is striving to achieve that goal, to have a bike and change a kid's life by giving them the chance to be mobile and enjoy what is around them. So Variety, the children's charity, that's what this spotlight is all about here today, is raising money. And as Reynolds just said, the Fairway Meat and Grocery people have raised a lot of money, and I think it's time for us to meet the store manager and see what he has. Also, we have Allison Hanner is here, and she is going to be accepting a check for Variety, the children's charity. Allison, come on in. Here's Paul. Allison, take a look at this. Reynolds, better read that number, make sure I don't stutter.
I tell you what, this is pretty amazing. We've got a check for Variety for $300,000 this year.
It's amazing.
So
thank you, thank you, thank you. We are so excited to be able to receive this and make an impact in all 4 corners of the state.
And Paul here in Johnson, our manager, he's just one of many that work hard to raise these dollars and help provide for the children.
Well, thank you again so much. This is so huge for us.
You know, if we're at telethon, we hear the ticker in the back. Dun, 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 dun. Here we are. So once again, get out there and keep raising this amount. Venmo, Variety Iowa. That's an easy way to get the money to us.
Absolutely, and pick up your phone too. 243-4660. 243-4660 is a number here locally. Get a hold of them at varietyiowa.com/telethon on the website as well. It'll take you right to the donation area. It is just a click away for helping this out. So let's see if we can get a bunch more money in to go along with this $300,000 for Variety, the children's charity. Allison, you think you put this money to good use?
I think we for sure will, Lou.
Thanks,
Reynolds,
Lou.
thank you,
Thanks,
sir.
Paul.
Thank you so much. How about that, Sherry? $300K.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Isn't that amazing?
It is amazing, and we are so appreciative of what Fairway does for Variety, the children's charity. And it's not just about the dollars, but it's also about what they are providing as far as branding is concerned and spreading the story about what Variety is doing throughout the state of Iowa.
Yeah, the employees know about Variety, and they're more than happy to share their stories about that. But you saw we talked about the fact we're raising money. That's what we're doing here today. We want to get some more money coming in, and there's a way that people can make donations to Variety, the children's charity, that you're very familiar with.
Oh, absolutely. You can go to our webpage at varietyiowa.com. You can go to the Venmo that is
Variety Iowa.
Variety Iowa.
Scan the QR code.
Scan the QR code.
Now, in case you're wondering the amounts of money, $52 a year comes to mind because you have a very neat thing that you relate to that.
We do. We have what's called the Miracle Pledge, and that's $52, and that is $1 per week.
Which is easy.
It's easy. That's less than a cup of coffee a week. So, or you can do a double Miracle Pledge or a triple Miracle Pledge that computes to $2 a week or $3 a week or whatever the case may be. Every single dollar that Variety receives goes back into our community, and we want it to benefit the kids in our community.
Yeah, that's the most important thing to keep in mind, is that the money comes in and Variety does all the research for you. They find the organizations that this money would best suit, and you get it right to them, and it goes right to work.
We do. We work one time a year to accept grant applications from children's organizations that are providing services. And last year, I'm proud to say that we provided over $2.1 million just in grants to about 70 different organizations.
Well, and you've heard a lot about these different organizations, but there's one organization that I'm sure you're very familiar with, but I don't know if you know the extent of the incredible work that they do. We are with Kathy Cody, the Director of Development and Community Relations for Hope Ministries, and Crystal Ivy, a client of Hope Ministries, to teach you a little bit about their program. And Kathy, Variety, the children's charity, has really helped immensely in the programs that Hope Ministry really has.
Absolutely. Variety has been a wonderful partner in our mission for many years, and the current project that we're working on that we're so excited to have Variety's investment in is a new campus for women and children. So we'll be able to triple our capacity to serve women and children with Variety's partnership.
Okay, now that's what I want you to talk about, because a lot of people people hear about Hope Ministries, and the first thing that comes to mind in a lot of minds is food and feeding people and things like this. But Hope Ministries is a lot more than that.
Absolutely, yes. So food and those free meals are often the first interaction that we have with individuals, and then that happens at the same location as our men's shelter. So people are often familiar with that, but we've actually been serving women and moms with children since 2004 here at our current location, and the demand for services for women and those moms with children and giving those children a safe and enriching place to grow and to learn and to grow in their relationship with mom is so important and so needed in this community, and that's why we're expanding our services.
Now, you mentioned the new building that's being constructed over on East Douglas, and how many rooms is that going to have, or how many people will that building be able to serve?
We'll be able to serve 100 women and mothers with children at that new campus.
Now, currently, we're over on the east side of Des Moines right now. How many people are served here?
Here we can serve 30 to 35 at the most. It's a bit of a changing puzzle here because of the restrictions of our physical location here. So we're going to triple our capacity.
So what happens here? What happens at a place that we're located in?
What happens here is that women and moms with their kids come in and they have a safe place to just breathe, to just take a break from the chaos and the trauma that they've experienced and regroup. And sometimes that happens for 30 days or less, and that's what we call our short-term program. And sometimes that happens for up to 2 full years that mom and kids can be here, and we walk with them to really transform their lives.
We never knew this aspect about it. I'm so glad you're able to communicate with this. And Crystal, let's talk a little bit about your experience here. First of all, how long have you been here?
I've been here for 8 months.
Okay, and how did you get introduced to Hope Ministries?
So I started at House of Mercy, and I got into some trouble there, and they took me in right away here. What brought me here was because they were faith-based, but what made me stay here was because they did not only work with myself, but my children as well.
How many children do you have?
3.
3? And their names? Get their names out.
Madeline, Bella, and Emiliana.
Okay.
Yep.
So you had your 3 kids, and you were going through some rough times.
Yes.
What made this place so different that it worked for you?
Well, because not only did they work with me, but they also helped me with my children's behavior. So, coming out of the chaos and off of the streets and stuff like that, I didn't know how to be a sober mom without the trauma and without the yelling, and so they taught me how to get on their level and to go eye to eye with them and to help them through because a lot of the trauma that I have inflicted on them, because I've had my own trauma, I didn't know how to handle. So they were able to help me get eye to eye with them and to set them in timeout and to be able to be in timeout with them, and go through those motions and those emotions with them. So
this is more of a learning experience for both you and the kids.
Yes.
And Kathy, it has to make you feel good to hear stories like that where it worked, that there was a connection that was made.
Absolutely, it does, yes, because Crystal and other moms with kids, they've dealt with traumatic, just unbelievably hard circumstances in their lives, and they deserve somebody to walk alongside them and give them another chance and give them the time that they need to really work on transforming their lives so that they and their children can live differently, so that Crystal's daughters can live differently.
And funding from organizations like Variety, the children's charity, that helps feed the need when it comes to making sure all this happens.
It definitely does, yes. We're a privately funded nonprofit organization, so if we did not have amazing partners like Variety coming alongside us, we couldn't provide these free programs and services that are saving lives and changing lives.
Okay, so you have a men's program, you have a women's program, you feed the community. It just is ongoing, and we do appreciate everything that Hope Ministries does do for our community, because you really are one of the most important organizations in our entire community.
Well, thank you so much. We're blessed to be part of the community.
No, absolutely. You're changing lives. Look at the smile on Crystal's face, and almost tears in your eyes because of life-changing opportunities that we're here. And that's what we're talking about, folks. We're talking about life-changing opportunities and supporting supporting kids and families here in Iowa. You want to donate to Variety, the children's charity. When you give to Variety, they take the time to individually review grant applications for all the organizations. Before that money, those funds go to those organizations, and they have a direct impact on the kids and the families that need it the most, like Hope Ministries. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Crystal.
Thanks.
We are with Variety, the children's charity fundraising superstar. Steve Halschild is joining us right now. Steve has had the opportunity to acquire more than $1 million to help out the kids for Variety, the children's charity. It has to be such a gratifying feeling to you.
It's incredibly rewarding, and I'm in the construction industry, and so going out to my network and asking every year to give and then give a little bit more every year, it's continued to build, and we've just crossed over that threshold this year, and I didn't even know that was the case until the Variety staff had told me, and so it's remarkable, it's rewarding, it's fulfilling.
Why do you think the people that you associate with are so willing to help Variety? Because
I think when you connect with the story and the why, and people see it, and then they know how those funds are put to work, they understand that it's an underwriting process that involves lots of board members and lots of different eyes, and so you can have confidence in the money that you give, where it goes, and the impact is nearly instantaneous.
And I'm glad you said that, because that's where a lot of people are wondering. Maybe you make a donation to an organization, but you don't know where the money goes. That's what Variety does. They do all the legwork for you.
Yeah, and so when I got involved with Variety in 1999, I didn't know exactly how it worked, but then over time, as you go through the grant process, you do some of the underwriting, and when I became a board member, it became very clear to me that the money that I raise and I go out and ask for and receive on behalf of kids who quite frankly can't ask.
Right.
And so when you see it go directly to those kids, those families, and making an impact, as far as I'm concerned, there's no other charity like Variety in terms of impact and taking the dollars right to the people that need it most.
Now, when you first got involved, was there any one special aspect of Variety that caught your attention?
Initially, we do a lot of healthcare construction, and so helping the hospitals became first.
Sure.
Then as I got involved as a board member, the mobility program is what hooked me.
Why was this so important to you? Why was mobility and the bikes like this?
I think it's very unique what Variety does, and when you can see the impact that it makes to a family and not just the child, how it gives them this opportunity to go out and do things as a family. I don't cry every time, but certainly it makes an impact on me. And my year as president, we had a child, his name was Christopher, who couldn't even really walk because he had muscular atrophy. He received a bike. His family showed us a video of it when he first got the bike riding down this driveway, and less than 3 months later he was speed demoning down that driveway on a gravel driveway, and it's like we are literally changing lives with these bikes that are not cheap, but when you make that kind of impact, it sticks with you.
Yeah, these bikes, for in case you're curious, thousands of dollars.
Thousands of dollars, yeah. Anywhere from a couple thousand up to $7,500 depending on the acuity of the child.
Yeah, but you have some incredibly powerful clients that really see the value in Variety, don't they?
Yeah, it's never, I'm never asking for myself. I'm asking for kids that can't go out and ask on their own, or for families. And when you tell that story, again, they see it go to work, and we post pictures, we tell the story, and it makes a huge impact on the family.
Now, you may have somebody watching right now. What would you tell them directly, the way it has impacted you on getting one of these bikes for a kid?
You can never give too much. The need is incredibly great. We have a binder full of kids and deserving families that it can change their lives, and if you would just consider what Variety does and open up your checkbook and make a pledge, you'll never regret it.
That is awesome. 515-243-4660. That is the number to call. You see the QR code on the screen right there. Give that a zap. You can make a donation that way as well. Venmo, it's Variety Iowa, and then VarietyIowa.com/telethon. We'll get you all to the donation location. Steve, thank you so much. You do incredible work, and we wish you continued success.
Thank you, Lou.
Thank you so much. We are with Dr. Anthony Coleman. He is the CEO of Broadlawns Medical Center, and we're talking about the impact that Variety has had on this incredible facility. Dr. Coleman, thank you, first of all, for talking to us today.
No, thank you for having us, and thank you for being here in our pediatrics clinics to witness firsthand the amazing care that goes on every day at Broadlawns.
All right, tell us a little bit about where the funds go that you receive from Variety, the children's charity, here at Broadlawns.
Absolutely. Anything from providing teddy bears to children in our emergency department.
Which the kids absolutely love.
Yes, and that's not all. We also benefit from your charity with state-of-the-art equipment for newborns in our family birthing center.
Yeah, and that's something that I want to make sure that people are aware of. Broadlawns Medical Center here in Des Moines is a state-of-the-art facility. You have equipment that is arrived to this place before it even enters any other place in Des Moines, and that's not an exaggeration.
Absolutely, and we would not be where we are being able to provide that level of care without the generosity of Variety, the children's charity.
Right. Now, we also want to talk about specifically where we are. You mentioned that we're in the pediatric area of Broadlawns and the pediatric clinic. You've really gone through a lot of remodeling here, haven't you?
Absolutely. We've gone through a lot of remodeling and we have yet more to do. Thanks to the generosity of Variety, the children's charity, we're going to be remodeling our pediatric suite to add 4 more exam rooms and 1 office for providers to keep pace with the growing pediatric needs of our community.
Why do you think that is in Des Moines, that the pediatric needs are increasing the way that they are? Because we see that.
Well, I think a couple of things. Number one, if you look at the 2020 census, it notes Des Moines as the fastest growing metro in the Midwest.
Really?
Yes. Number two, I think the word's getting out about Broadlawns.
Yes, and rightfully so.
Absolutely. We were at one time a last resort, but we have transitioned to a provider of choice, and I think our families and their patients know it.
Yeah, and that has happened over the past, handful of years, and with donations and funding from Variety, the children's charity, that just accelerates the growth there, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
All right. Now, where do you think the one advancement is the biggest in the pediatric area of Broadlawns? Where do you think they have really been able to capitalize on treating and helping the community?
I think I'd have to say it would be in the area of our language services.
Really?
Here in the pediatric clinic, we speak over 56 different languages on any given day.
50? Really?
Yeah. So if you think about it in terms of barriers to care, if we wouldn't have had the language services that we have, there are children in this community that wouldn't be able to receive pediatric care that they so desperately need.
Yeah, even something as simple as what hurts.
Exactly.
You know, for that. And how does that make you feel overseeing all the operations here to see that the funds from Variety, the children's charity, are having that much of an impact on your facility?
Well, I'll tell you, being in this role is like a dream come true for me. And specifically after COVID, one thing I noticed about healthcare, it's an ecosystem in a sense that different communities, different organizations have to work together to provide care. And our partnership with Variety and the generosity of Variety, the children's charity, is a testament to that.
Wow. Now let's talk about some of the patients that have come in here and some of the struggles they may have had that you've been able to help with. We mentioned the language. What else do we have in store?
Well, we're seeing an increasing number of refugee patients, and I'm proud to say that Broadlawns doesn't turn anyone away.
Wow, and that's one of the most important things about the whole operation, is being able to accept everyone and help everyone.
Absolutely. When you think about the state of healthcare and how the population is generally getting sicker, we must begin to go upstream and try to cure or increase the health status of our population. So I'm proud to be a part of an organization that doesn't turn anyone away, and we try to heal the whole person.
Right, and we're here at the main location of Broadlawns on Hickman, which everybody is very, very familiar with. Everybody's familiar with that, but you've also reached out. You have an East Side location too, we understand is doing really well. How has that one come into the mix?
That's a great question. So to your point, initially Broadlawns Medical Center was centrally located in this location, but since the need has grown, we did build a clinic on East University, and that clinic is full. We're seeing patients. As a matter of fact, our East University urgent care a lot of times provides more visits than any of our other clinics.
Really?
Yes, sir.
It really has taken off then and served a purpose in the community.
Absolutely. Continues to serve a purpose every day.
All right, so Dr. Coleman, there's people up there watching now that are reaching for their devices, reaching for their phones, considering making a donation to Variety, the children's charity. What would you tell them right now to encourage them to do so?
Well, there's a QR code on your screen. I would access that QR code or call 515-243-4660.
All right, so pick up that phone, make that call, scan the QR code. Variety Iowa, you can go to there as well and take care of that and make a donation. Follow the links at the same time. So it is really something you really need to do. Dr. Coleman, thank you so much for everything you do for our community here at Broadlawns Medical Center. Again, with help from Variety, the children's charity. Thank you so much,
Absolutely.
sir. We appreciate it.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you. You be good. For 49 years, we have been here, raising money for Variety, the children's charity, with a telethon type special. But this year is a little different. This year, we're doing it without Stanley John Reynolds, one of the founding fathers of the telethon. He passed away in 2022. Joining us right now is his son, Stan W. Reynolds, to talk a little bit about the history of your family and Variety, the children's charity.
Well, not a lot of people know this, but in 1972, my sister was born, Bridget Ann.
Okay.
And she was born with special needs. And she spent a year in and out of the NICU at Blank Children's Hospital. And she came home, and she got a little healthy, and then she got sick again. And they didn't have enough beds. And they couldn't have room for her. And she passed away. And my parents were leaving that funeral, and they said, let's make my daughter's life matter. And they did. And Stanley was doing business with a guy named Steve Blank, his good buddy in his breakfast club.
Okay.
And Steve's like, you need to get involved in Variety Club. And my father said, okay, I'll get involved in Variety. Let's make a difference for our daughter. And they took a struggling Variety Club tent in Iowa that was about to lose its charter, and they turned it around. And they started a little telethon in 1974 after meeting with Monty Hall in London.
Really?
Monty Hall was going to yank them. And my father, a good salesman that he was, said, listen, I'll do this telethon, I'll turn it around, but you have to be here, Monty. Mm-hmm. And Monty Hall was a huge star at the time. Right. Let's make a deal.
Absolutely.
And was one of the leaders in Variety around the world. At the time, I believe he was international president. So Steve Blank, my father, Mike Riley, Ray Johnson, they all got together and they got Adventureland to give it away for free that year. Went to Channel 5.
Right here?
Right here, Channel 5. That was when it was WOI. Mm-hmm. And I was 5 years old. And I was not at the first telethon, I was at the second telethon. My sister, though, however, she reminds me of daily, Suzanne, who was our first poster child.
Wow, so this is her in the picture?
That's her in the picture.
Okay.
And she's still as cute as ever, so she wants me to say that.
Good.
And
points.
And my whole family's been involved. I mean, my sister Erin, my brother Brooks, who's the Bacon Fest guy, mm-hmm. And myself, I'm actually president of Variety of the United States right now. Wow. On the international board. I've been past president of Iowa. Our families put our money where our mouth is. We love the children of Iowa. We're Iowans, mm-hmm. So this is why we're here. And
you had just a ton of people come through and participate in Variety, the children's charity telethons throughout the years, and some pretty prominent people.
Oh, I mean, remember Greg Evigan, BJ and the Bear?
Yes,
exactly. That was the 70s. You had Jeff Conaway from Taxi in Greece. He was a crazy one. But then our cast of Jason Cook and Emma Sams, mm-hmm. and Blake Emmons was one of the original MCs, and he did telethons all over the world. And who doesn't forget Carrie McDowell? Mm-hmm. I mean, she opened for Liberace. She was on The Tonight Show every other week back in those days. And the telethons, there was one in every city. Now there's only a couple left.
Yep, but that's why we're keeping this alive.
That's right.
The Telethon Spotlight alive here. And we're just talking about making sure your donations go to where you know the money is going to do the best. And you have really invested your family's time, the money that you've helped raise, and it really is making a difference.
Well, I mean, you can't drive around Des Moines without seeing a Sunshine Coach.
Absolutely.
You can't, I can't, if I mention that I've worked with Variety, people are like, oh, my granddaughter was in the NICU at blank.
See that?
The Boys and Girls Club, a kid might get used there. The John R. Grubb Y, Wildwood Hills Ranch. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can go on and on and on. Variety's raised $120 million. We have 3 million people in the state of Iowa, mm-hmm. and we raise $3 to $5 million a year. That's over $1 a person. That's huge. I mean, we're the second largest tent in the world, well, in the United States, third largest in the world.
That's pretty impressive.
For a reason.
Yeah.
Because Iowans have a big heart,
Yeah.
and that's the heart of show business, the heart of variety.
And also the heart of the Reynolds family, too. And you're carrying on the legacy, which we really appreciate you doing that. But right now, folks, if you're wondering, yes, I want to get involved. I want to help the kids here in Iowa. The money stays here. The money stays here in Iowa, and you can help them. There's easy ways to do it. You see on the screen, this has been going on all night long, the QR code.
They got Venmo, too. I just learned how to Venmo last year. I got teenagers. So, please Venmo me money, Dad. I'm like, okay. But that's an easy way. You just go on your app and you scan the code and you send it to Variety, deduct from your bank account or credit card, and boom. It goes to the kids. It doesn't go to me. We don't get paid. We don't have expensive offices. We do everything on the cheap, believe me.
Yeah, but just that simple. Make a donation. You can make a difference, like the Reynolds family has made a difference all these years. Stan, thank you, sir.
Thanks. Always a pleasure.
Appreciate it. We're at Hy-Vee's corporate office with some VIPs, some very important people. Kevin Sherlock is here. He is Hy-Vee Chief Operating Officer, and Joe Milnes, he's a store director for Hy-Vee, not too far from where we are right now. And gentlemen, this is one of the most exciting times when it comes to Variety, the children's charity telethon spotlight, is to talk about the contributions that Hy-Vee give. But before we do that, everybody, I want to talk about the rise of each one of you in the corporate Hy-Vee ladder and what you have done with Variety, the children's charity. Joe, let's start with you.
Sure.
Okay, you started at Hy-Vee when?
I started in 1992 at the age of 15. Okay. So I started at the Sheraton store, like I said, when I was a kid, and worked at the warehouse as well. So I've been working with Hy-Vee for 30 years plus now.
Wow. And now you're running the Mills Civic?
Yep, store director at the Mills Civic store, just on the west side of Des Moines here. I've been there since January.
Okay. Well, congratulations
Thank you
to that. And Kevin, you've been around with Hy-Vee for a little longer.
Just a few years long. Yeah, I started in 1986 in Iowa City. I've laughingly said for years that I was just trying to pay for prom. And so somewhere along the lines, now I'm getting ready to pay for my daughter's prom, but that was really when I started, and moved through a lot of different stores, 7 different stores, multiple moves throughout Hy-Vee land, very similar to Joe.
Yeah, and just last December, you were moved up to Chief Operating Officer, but all the time that each one of you spent with Hy-Vee, you've always been involved with Variety. And why is that so important to you, Kevin?
Well, I think for us, we see the good that comes from it, giving back to kids, giving back to community. Hy-Vee works a lot with a lot of different charities, but it's been one that, if you've been around it and you've seen it, and I know you have, it touches you and you don't forget, and you realize how you can make an impact. And so when I first had a chance to see it in Eastern Iowa, it stuck with me. When I had the opportunity to come here in the office and was asked to be a part and be Hy-Vee's corporate leader, working with Variety, it was an easy decision for me to get involved.
Now, when you first were introduced to Variety back over in Eastern Iowa, what were some of the things that really caught your attention?
Well, I just thought great people to work with, number one. The Variety group is awesome. And then again, you see how much they do for kids and how much they do for the community. And so for me, when you can impact someone that maybe is in a tougher situation than what you had good fortune in your life to have, it's a good time to give back.
Now, Joe, when did Variety first touch you?
Yeah, when I first started working in the Des Moines area, I actually worked for some very, very good store directors that were very involved with the community. And one of the charities and one of the organizations that we look forward to donating our time with as well as our resources was with Variety, and we've been doing that for years and even decades now, and just had really good leadership that was really involved with the community and really just struck a really good partnership with Variety, as Kevin had mentioned.
That is awesome. Now, you're at the store level.
Yes.
Now, Joe, what do you see when customers come in and they're going to the registers, they're checking out, and they see like the roundup, you just finished it here a couple weeks ago. It was for like the end of January is when it started. What do you see when people see that Variety, the children's charity, pops up on that screen?
They immediately react to that, and they know Variety is a local organization here that gives back, and just super generous customers, and our employees as well, as they're going through the checkout lines, they're super eager to help and help with this cause. So really good feedback from them as well.
All right. Kevin, what's the one aspect, I know you've been involved with Variety for a long, long time, what's the one aspect of Variety that really touches home with you? What's the one thing that they do?
Well, I guess I see the mobility bikes.
Yep.
I see those go out. Sherry was kind enough to share a video the other day of a young person that is progressing in life, and again, those are the types of things I missed that in the past. Some of the opportunity we had to see live and when we had the telethon, but you see those videos and it gets shared with you, and you know you're doing good for good people.
Yeah, it makes you feel good as a person and as a company, doesn't it?
Well, one of our former chairmen used to say, if you have the opportunity to do good, you should, and I think we've done that at Hy-Vee, and Joe has with the local market, and I've had the opportunity again just to really represent Hy-Vee and working with Variety.
It's very impressive what Hy-Vee has done for more than 40 years with Variety of the Children's Charity. What kind of numbers do you think we have donated from Hy-Vee to Variety of the Children's Charities? Do you have any idea?
Well, Lou, you're putting me on the spot. I didn't do my homework today.
I think I know the answer.
You got
too.
the answer?
I think I know the answer
All
because
right.
this is a very impressive. Ladies and gentlemen, the company that these two gentlemen represent have donated over $20 million to Variety of the Children's Charity over the years. Thank you so much for doing all that. But we're not done, everybody, because the reason that we're here at the corporate offices of Hy-Vee is because Joe and Kevin, you have a check that you want to present to Variety of the Children's Charity. Sherry McMichael is here. She's going to walk the check in. We'll show you that. Joe, you go over here because I want you two to do the honors and show everybody what kind of money. You ready? Drum roll, please.
All right, here we go.
Take a look at this, ladies and gentlemen. More than $500,000, $550,000. Kevin, what does that make you feel like right now? You're holding like $500,000, more than $500,000 check in your hand right now.
It is literally and figuratively a big check.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big check. So
this is a little bigger than normal, isn't
yeah,
it?
it's a little bigger than normal, but just proud to be a part of a company and proud to work with folks like Joe, work with Sherry and Variety for a great cause, and again, just to be involved in it and be a catalyst to bring some of this forward is heartwarming for me and brings a lot of pride.
Sherry, what can you do with a check of a little more than $500,000?
Well, we can do a lot with those dollars, and I guarantee you that we will put every single penny to good use and make sure that it's impacting kids throughout the state of Iowa. But on behalf of Variety, I just want to say thank you. The years and years of support from Hy-Vee and from the customers of Hy-Vee means so much. I love hearing about the Roundup and that people respond immediately to the Roundup, and you have been instrumental in making us who we are and allowing us to make the impact. So thank you. Thank you to Hy-Vee, but also thank you to all of the customers that round up and support Variety of the Children's Charity.
Yeah, and you're not done, folks. If you're watching right now, we want you to help because this is going to go to an incredible organization, do some incredible things. But Kevin, people can donate right now by just doing something with the screen. Can't
Absolutely. We got a QR code there, and we can Venmo at Variety Iowa and make your pledges and make your donation there. That would be awesome if we could get some support that way.
That's the QR code right below where Kevin's standing right now. See it right there? Joe, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
everything
Appreciate
that
it.
you and the folks at Hy-Vee are doing. And Kevin, great job out of
Thank
you.
you.
And thank
Appreciate
you
it.
all
Thank
the
you.
employees and customers of Hy-Vee for helping out Variety
you.
the Children's Charity. Incredible!
Absolutely incredible. They have been with us all along the way. They're one of our longest standing donors, and we so appreciate their support.
Absolutely. Scan the code on the screen, make a donation, and help. A couple of days before Stanley J passed away, he looked at Stanley W. and he says, don't forget Variety. We're not going to forget Variety.
No.
And we're not going to forget Stanley J. Reynolds. Thank you so much for watching. Here's Stan's favorite song.